Hey everybody, my name is Rob Woodbridge from Untethered.tv. What you're about to see here is a short clip of a much longer episode. It can be found on Untethered.tv. So if you really are interested in this, go to Untethered.tv, do a search for this title, and you'll find it there. But enjoy this short clip. Into this whole social and digital, and then all you're leveraging what I love, which is you're leveraging mobile, you're leveraging place and context. How important is that people are using these devices to share their thoughts, not only about the wines that they're drinking in restaurants, they're taking photos of labels, they're taking photos of wineries, they're engaged that way, they're on, as you say, they're on the freeway on the way to Napa Valley. So how important is mobile in what you guys are doing?
Well, fundamentally, let's start with the first piece, which is context is king. Gary says it, I say it. To me, context is the king of everything, right? I want to know about you because at the end of the day, we are in a service industry anymore. I mean, what Amazon and Google have done have equalized the vendor competition. And if you're going to compete on price, you're going to lose right out of the gate. So how do you go? It's going back to that service or the thank you economy. Now, the good news about that is the volume of data that we relinquish in return for these services is at the largest magnitude ever through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's a value exchange in these pieces. And where it happens more frequently than any is the mobile device, the smartphone. We are doing it all the time. We have the Library of Alexandria in our pocket. The iPhone or the Android are our windows to the internet, and the windows to our friends and contacts. And so all of the sharing and things like experience-based things helps us get better context around a person. It's a fascinating thing. And the key is, how do you make that actionable and leverageable for a small business? And this is where I have to thank the wine industry for being such a struggle to work with in some ways, right? You look at companies, the big social listening companies, and they've had the fortunate opportunity to work with Dell or Coca-Cola, who have this whole mission control center and an analyst and a full-time 3 social media person and 5 screens up, and Yeah. I'm working with an owner-operator who's in the vineyard half the time and doesn't know how to spell Twitter sometimes, or what is a tweet, or fail whale, or RT, I don't understand this thing.
It's like my dad.
Right, exactly. And there's 6 ways to Sunday. Or I'm working with someone who is actually very sophisticated, right? They get it. They understand it fully. I'll get Craig Camp from Cornerstone. He knows, but he is like so busy. This is what's important to him. So what we've had to learn to do is how to break this all down into what is the most important elements and how do we attach context to it to really round this out. So what we've decided, there are 3 things that are most important to a company. Conversations about you, conversations to you, and conversations with you. So about you is organic, right? That's where listening really plays in. Conversations to you is liking a Facebook post, commenting, and conversations with you is a really important one. An Instagram picture at your winery. And this applies not just to wineries, these are manageable, handleable things that you need to address. And then the rest of it's the fluff. The rest of it's the strategies or tactics to expand beyond that, whether it's creating a social media campaign. But at the essence, if you can serve those up and bring context, hey, Paul, this person who talked with you is a wine club member. Did you know that? Or this person that talked with you is a wine lover. Or this person's not really a wine lover. They just happen to be here that day with their friends. Or they are a wine lover, and by the way, they like football, and they're here for a wedding, these different concepts, and then you can really round out the service experience and empower them to do that fundamental differentiator, which is service.
So what would they do? So there's a conversation that happens. I'm at a restaurant. I'm outside of Napa Valley. I have ordered a bottle of wine. I love this bottle of wine. I take a photo of the bottle of wine, or I tweet about it, or I share an experience about it. That's about you. To you is I don't know. I like your winery Facebook page as a perfect example.
Sure.
And then with you is that I'm actually engaged with you. I'm planning a trip and I want to get down there, or I'm on the winery.
With you is at premise, on you, the
literally
location
on you. Okay.
With you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hug them almost.
Yeah. It's like, so how? I mean, walk through an example of how the winery would then take this data or take this information and do something with it, because it's like there's not a gap. I mean, I see this very clearly, is that you're exposed to things. You're either looking in the stream, or you're not, but it's still happening with or without you. So
yeah. So our job is to take the stream and put the stream in front of
right.
you. So this Facebook conversation happens here. There's a one. This Twitter one happens here. Yeah. All of them blended. One single stream for you to manage these complex challenges. And so, and then their job is to do different factors, right? Reply when appropriate. Drill down to see the context of the customer. Should I answer them? Should I waste my time? There's a lot of energy being wasted about people that don't matter, and if you can bring that added little context to them, and then we let them sort those customers or see how often. So, for example, a great one is when someone likes your comments on your Facebook page. It feels like a ticker, right? And I think this is a great deficiency of Facebook, which is they want you to see those macro numbers, the reach, and But really, I want to know how many times did Paul Mabray like, comment, or share posts, and who is he to me out of that piece? I want to go to the micro level, and then I can adjust, because that's really how you service customers. You don't service them on a macro. But I can do it depending on, and I can set ticklers up to say, hey, I haven't talked to this guy in 6 months. Maybe I should talk to him again because he's an important customer, et cetera, et cetera.
So what would you do? What would you do with somebody on premise? Like, because a lot of people will use a Foursquare check-in, or
Sure.
an Instagram or a photo, or say, I'm at the winery. I mean, how is it that without being creepy, right? Without being eavesdropping on them and tapping them on the shoulder and saying, "Hi, you just tweeted about us. Thanks." How do you engage with that? How do you leverage them using this mobile platform to do good while they're there, to blow their mind?
So there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of tactical ways to do it. There is the creepy factor, right? And it's part of the staff training is don't get all, hey, I know that you've been X, Y, Z, and they're like,
exactly. How was the Giants game? How is this? How is this? I'm like, yeah.
But it's so when you look at, first of all, you look at the background. How does it stock you from a reference point to know, okay, this person is a wine lover or not? That's a very basic premise, and know that they're a social customer versus a non-social customer. So you can differentiate your service based on that, because if they're a social customer, they're more likely to Yelp, TripAdvise, tweet, Facebook, Instagram. And so by you giving that differentiated service, and we have some wineries that when they see this happen, they go find those people and move them to another area so that they can give them that better service. Say, hey, we saw that you tweeted. We'd love to have you over here in our special social media area. It's simple, doesn't get ugly, doesn't feel yucky. Right,
but it's a reward,
another one,
right?
It's a reward for doing exactly, and the same thing occurs with Instagram quite frequently, and chefs do this too. There's I forget the one in New York that has a screen above it, and the chef will come out and thank people for the food porn shots that they take. The same thing occurs at some of these wineries. They'll move them to the side and say, "Wow, that's an amazing picture. We're going to put it up on our Facebook wall today, and want you to come say thank you. We really appreciate it. And hey, by the way, here, try this reserve wine that we have in that piece." So, identifying who they are, thanking them. In a crowded room, it helps you pick out people too. It's like these are the light bulbs showing up, so that you can at least get a little context to who's in your room. That being said, you still have to service everyone, but it helps you get faster to service and know how you want to service these people without being too creepy sometimes.